Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to wherever you're from right now, esteemed judges and fellow competitors. I would like to introduce myself first. My full name is Nguyen, and I'm currently living in Vietnam, particularly the southern part in Ho Chi Minh City. Now, personally, in my community, I believe that finance, the financial industry, is one of the most prominent industries for AI use in Vietnam. So the government is highly encouraging the use of agentic AI, which is different from its counterpart in the past, which is generative AI, as in it can plan, execute, reason all independently without the need for human command. And I believe that this type of AI will be extremely commonly used because as of 2026 alone, already 94% of financial institutions are increasing their budget of investment in AI. And of course, with the rise of AI taking over in the clerical office, there will also be an increase in demand for AI management related jobs. So these jobs will have more to do with the alignment with the Vietnamese AI law and ethics, judgment. So for those who are educated in this industry, they can see raises in salary up to 25%. But like all changes, this one is no exception, and it comes with significant difficulties. That is, currently there are repetitive jobs such as data entry roles. Those are the jobs that are at high displacement risk, up to 90% for data entry roles. So additionally, there will also be a question for our morality. Where do we draw the line between inspiration and replacement? Music, in particular, will see a drastic drop in its revenue up to 24% in 2028, and that is predicted by UNESCO. Well, if that were the case, truly, how worth it is their investment? In order to answer that, we would have to take a look at the opportunities that they do bring to the table. First of all, companies that apply artificial intelligence can see increases up to 55% in terms of their operational efficiency and 35% reduction in costs, which could mean a lot for the economy, a reduction in prices, for example. Well, however, these technologies cannot be fully enjoyed with its current problems. That's where I introduce our solutions. First of all, that is keystroke analysis. It is a technology used to analyze typing patterns so that it can individualize learning. And additionally, I believe it should replace AI detectors as a more accurate way of a detriment, whether or not something is original or not. Additionally, I believe that a universal AI watermark should be created, since currently, according to the University of Waterloo in 2025, all image AI watermarks can be removed. So this one should be undetectable by the human eye so that we can determine the credibility of our materials. Well, I would like to end this with a comparison to mobile phones, which are extremely commonly used currently, although it was harshly criticized when it first came out because of its being too accessible. However, it has proved itself to be worth it. What is to say that artificial intelligence isn't the same? Ultimately, it is my belief that AI is neither good or bad. It is up to us as the user and the creator to decide whether that is or not. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. And Professor Preeti Raman from Metropolitan Toronto University has a question for you.
Yes, thank you so much for your presentation. I enjoyed your talk with your teacher, and it seems like it went in all directions. And he started talking about computer science, English, and then music and art. And then in your essay, you actually mentioned something about, how AI can create the information that is similar looking, right? And you and your teacher discussed that as well. So, what I want to ask you is actually, I'm just thinking about when I was reading your essay, I was thinking about we have a theory, I'm a computer scientist, and Claude Shannon has this theory about entropy. And, he says that real information is something that can surprise you. So you want to be surprised by it. So you said that everything is becoming formula based, and you were actually describing something like flattening of this entropy. So my question to you is, can you think of something, especially since you spoke about music, and can you think of something that genuinely surprised you in a way that you think AI could have pulled off? And what should we now do about making sure that we don't flatten human creativity? Like we're not starting to think and do things like AI, but we still maintain our own individuality.
Okay, thank you for that intriguing question. I do believe that it is highly relevant in currently in pop media, like you've seen on Instagram, on TikTok, social media in general. There has been a drastic rise of artificial intelligence. So there are musical bands that are completely artificial intelligence, and they're getting a lot of recognition compared to smaller artists. So I believe it is an issue worth addressing. I believe there should be policies. Example for a musical competition, there should be, like I said, with keystroke analysis, it is possible to analyze works of music rather than only focusing on the result. It should also be focused on the process in order to determine whether or not something is original, since some original ideas can somewhat resemble artificial intelligence work. So, first of all, that's the policy regarding process. And number two, that is, I don't believe that AI is completely detrimental to creativity. I do believe that it can benefit in some certain ways. However, those who come up with the original ideas should be able to reap the full benefits, while artificial intelligence should only be a a partner rather than a replacement. That is my answer. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you
Mhm.
so much. Great ideas. I'm so impressed by all of the candidates. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you very much. Thank you for Professor Preeti Raman. Ella Mean, you have another question.
Yeah, I really wanted to piggyback off of what you said earlier about AI not being a replacement, but like a tool, like a partner. So, where would you draw the line between partnership and replacement? Because I feel like with AI, it can be a very fine line. So, what do you think the line, like, where do you think the line stands?
Personally, I think it's similar to articles and citations like we've seen in the past. I believe that AI should be used like I've mentioned before. It can come up with certain original ideas or combine many ideas together, draw paths that we might not have known that could have been the case. So I believe if AI were to be used in, for example, art or music, it should be cited, it should be credited rather than taking an idea and making it as our own, even though it is not and it is formulaic. Uh, that is where I draw the line. Thank
Totally
you for
agree.
your question.
Yeah.